Hiya, I'm Alice. I live in Newcastle. I work as a breast surgeon in the NHS and run for Sanity, really. I started, gosh, it was 2018 I started running. And at that point, I started because I wanted to lose some weight and I didn't really like exercising, but I liked eating. So it was running was the most time efficient calorie burn. And so I started doing Couch to 5K. Totally didn't expect to enjoy it. It was a means to an end. And I did the Great North Run in 2019, which was my longest run at that point, and found that I actually really enjoyed it. And then lockdown hit, and I was a member of a online running group called the No Drama Llama Runners, and we started having week-long team challenges every month. There was lots of people who were furloughed during that time, so needed something to keep them motivated. And I was still working, but obviously there wasn't an awful lot else to do outside of work. And I took part in these challenges, and there's lots of encouragement and support in this group, and lots of just do it, why not? And I ended up running a marathon during that time on my own, and just escalated from there. And I entered my first ultra that October with 6 weeks notice, because they didn't know they were going to be able to put the event on until then, and that was a 55k. And I don't know, I really like it. What I found over that time is that I didn't really care about speed. I couldn't give less of a shit about running fast, but I'm really motivated about seeing how far I can push myself and where my limit is. And I don't know if I found my limit or not. I did the wall 2 summers ago with a couple of friends, and that was 110k, and I was pretty broken at the end. But I think, when you've got a target to hit, you kind of go to that target, don't you? And you get, whether it's 5k or 100k, as you get close to the end, you reached your end. Whereas, so I don't know. We'll see. So I've done one backyard before, which was the Rasselbock event last year. I entered it. Why did I enter it? Just to try something different. I think after doing the wall, I wasn't sure if I wanted to push more for a longer distance, or whether I wanted to try more difficult terrain. But then I saw this advertised, and I thought, well, why not give it a go? It's something different. And in some ways it can play to my strength of stubbornness and not speed. I was a bit anxious as to whether I was fast enough to get enough rest in. And I was coming in, so I did 9 yards. When I signed up, when I was motivated and training, I'd hoped to get to 12, and then my mojo disappeared, and I arrived at the event very undertrained and with no expectation, really, just enjoy myself. I was doing it with a group of people that I got on well with. I knew I was going to have a laugh, and let's see. And given that, I was really pleased with 9 yards. My last yard, I went out with a can of gin and tonic, and so I think that was kind of acknowledgement that that was going to be the final one. And I came in about 2 minutes before. I'd said I was going to keep going until I got timed out, and I got in about 2 minutes before, so I could have gone out again. I had people supporting, and I had food in bags that I could just grab a bag for an hour and take it out with me. But I knew that I'd been stumbling over the tree roots, and I don't think that was entirely gin and tonic related. I think it was also being tired, and I hadn't perhaps eaten enough that lap. So I just thought, I don't want to go out and injure myself. I've had a really nice time. Let's go out feeling pleased. And I think chatting to people and having done that, what I want this time is to try not to have a target in mind, because I think if you have a target in mind, sometimes, it's that thing where you think, this is how far I'm going, and then mentally you switch off. And mentally, if you get there, you might still have something in the tank, but you've hit your target, so you're done. And I don't know how easy that will be for me, because I don't know, it's quite hard not to think 12 or whatever, but I'm trying not to have a target, and I'm just trying to go out and reset my watch each yard and just see where I get to. Who knows? I mean, the obvious one from across the backyard running world was the world record being broken, wasn't it, at Biggs last year? That was, I was watching that and going, oh my God. You look at it and you go, I ran 9 yards, which is 37.5 miles, which is objectively a bloody long way. And by a lot of people, completely unattainable. But you look at what those guys were doing and it's just insane. And I think Claire Banworth, who was the woman that got the furthest, and she was doing similar sort of times to what I did and coming in with sort of between 5 and 3 minutes each yard. And I'm just, I think that's, for me, it feels sustainable for maybe up to 24 hours. But, when you go beyond that, which you went well beyond that, how on earth do you get any rest? How can your body do that and you not be hallucinating random stuff in the woods? And, it's just insane. So that was mind-blowing watching all of that. And watching, so last year at your backyard ultra, the Bright Squad, who I wasn't part of, but I ran alongside, did a film, which if anyone hasn't watched it, check it out. And that was watching that and their as they were coming in, and I was seeing some of it in real life, but going back and watching it, it brought back a lot of the emotions and feelings of that, and watching them push themselves was really cool. I guess from my own point of view, do I have any special memories of me doing it? I guess it was as much watching other people and sort of going off to bed and getting up the next morning and people are still going, and going home that afternoon and people are still going, and this thing where you go, I've had 2 nights sleep and people are still running. And I think it was the second evening, wasn't it, that the winner finished. And so I'd ran so early on in one of my about third or fourth yards, I ended up running a bit with Richard, and we were sort of through the woods, me and Heather Bond, and sort of start chatting as you do, and oh, have you done any backyards before? He goes, oh yeah, 1 or 2. And we're like, oh yeah, this is our first and we're having a really good time. And, how have you got on before? And he went, oh, I won it. And okay. And what are you aiming for this time? Oh, to do as much as I can. And I was like, oh well, we're obviously doing all right. If you can win these things and we're running with you, then our strategy is probably not too shabby. But yeah. So my mojo last year went on a holiday, basically, with not enough events to really train for. And so I've just kind of, when did I start? In sort of December time, really getting going again. I'd had a plan since October to try and restart with strength training and losing a bit of weight, both of which I know made a big difference, but didn't happen. So I'm kind of trying to do all of it, which is a bit more challenging because obviously you need to fuel yourself properly for longer runs. So I think I'm finding the balance all right. I did your Sherwood Pines event a couple of weeks ago and managed 2 half marathons, which I was really pleased about because, that's the target I'd set and I didn't think I'd necessarily be able to do it. But that shows me that I can. And so I'm, since December and properly this month building up my training. I don't know whether I'm going to do any backyard specific things this time. So last time I found a route that was almost identical elevation and similar underfoot to Sherwood Pines, and to the loop that you had, and went and from the back of my car did 3, and worked out that actually I had more time than I thought if I came in at sort of 5 minutes before, and that it's actually quite a long time. And I don't know whether I'll bother doing that this time because I guess I know I can. And I think I'd be surprised if I managed more than 12 hours. So I don't feel like I need to go out and try and run loads during the night. I think if I'm getting so I'm beyond that, that will motivate me in itself. And I don't know, I guess in my head I would like to do more than 12. Well, I would like to do more than 9 because that's what I did last time. If I did more than 12, I'd be over the moon, but I'm going to try and switch off number targets because I think I'm more likely to go to my limit if I do that rather than having a target in my head. But it's quite hard not to have a target in your head, isn't it?
Yeah.
And my brain, so I was doing really stupid things last time, which I'm trying not to do. And I'd done about 3 yards and I was going, oh, I feel all right. Maybe I could run 100 miles. And it's like, After 3 yards, you reckon that? Howie, come on. But who knows? Who knows? I'm determined. I'm stubborn. If I'm not injured, if I'm mentally in a good place, and I fuel properly, we'll see. But
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
you never know what's
you
going to
never
happen on the
know.
day. Yeah.
Lots of people I'm looking forward to seeing. So definitely Heather, Heather Bond, who's I know you know very, very well, who does loads of your events. She's epic. She's really inspiring. I ran 8 of the 9 yards with her last time. That was the first time we'd run properly together. So we've met. So we've met online as in one of the running groups we're in. But I'd seen her at your events a couple of times before, but not ever really run with her. And you know, worked really well. We chatted a lot. You know, she's good company. We were similar in terms of what we were able to do, shown by the fact that she finished at 8 and I finished at 9. And we ran together all the way except to that 8th yard when she was beginning to flag, and I was like, I need to keep going. If I don't keep going, I'm going to stop. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing her and running some yards with her. Um, I'm looking forward to seeing all of the Bright Squad lot, who I think are coming back again, because they're just good fun, aren't they? And you know, bring a lot of colour to it. Extremely experienced, and you know, so it's reassuring when you go off with them, and you know, you're walking and they're walking. You think, well, okay, this feels good, and I think part of that was what gave me confidence last time. I don't know if Rich and Sarah have signed up this time. I'm not sure. I know they didn't last time. I'm trying to persuade them if they don't, because that would be good. But you know, there's loads of people that come to your events who are really, you know, really encouraging and supportive and good fun. And you know, you chat to different people each yards, don't you? So obviously, I'm looking forward to seeing you as well, Eric. A duck-sized horse or a horse-sized duck? A horse-sized duck. I think ducks are cooler than horses. It would be quite cool to ride a duck as well, wouldn't it? It would be quite cool to sit on a duck's back and go across the lake. I'd quite like that.
Yeah, or just take the duck to the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.